Shotgun with Charlie.
Riding shotgun refers to the practice of sitting next to the driver in a moving vehicle. The term riding shotgun came around after the time of the stagecoach, when somebody used to sit next to the driver holding a shotgun, in case they ran into bandits. My name is Charlie Cook, and I drive a lot. I like to talk to people while I'm driving, so I interview people in my car while I'm driving. Welcome to Riding Shotgun with Charlie. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie. This has been an interview that's been like an ongoing thing for a while, which I absolutely love this. We are at the Gun Rights Policy Conference in Phoenix. Everything is officially over except my work day. So I knock out a bunch of interviews at once, but that's totally cool. Today I have with me Gina Roberts. Gina,
hey,
thank
how
you.
are you? I made the big time. I'm riding shotgun with Charlie.
I love it. I love it. It's great.
And you're going to take a new route. So
I am going to take a new route. So I don't know where we're going. So there's a real good chance. Do you have the address of the hotel?
Oh yeah, I'm cool. It's already programmed into my GPS. So
Perfect.
If you get out in the middle of Scottsdale, we can find it.
We might need it. What I like about this is, so I've got a camera out front as well, and if we see something cool, then we can incorporate that. But I think it's pretty cool out here. I know you travel a lot, but I think it's pretty cool that like you see the mountains and you drive for a long time, and then you still see the mountains, and then you drive for a long time, you still see the mountains.
Yeah, you need to come to San Diego more often.
Never been. I've never been. I grew up in the Midwest where it was cornfields for forever.
Yeah. How far can you see piles of corn piled up at harvesting season? I went to South Dakota one time, and I was just absolutely blown away at how much corn.
How much corn's in the Midwest? Yeah. Oh my God, totally. Yeah. All right, Gina, tell us about you. You travel all over the country. Every time I see you, you take a selfie in an airplane, and you're all over the place all the time.
I get around. I have, well, first of all, my job, I'm a consulting engineer, and I take care of some machines I designed about 6 or 7 years ago, and the people that own them need me to keep them fixed. And so that's why I go to lovely places like Odessa, Texas, and Pennsylvania once in a while. But I also do a lot of advocacy, both for all things. I'm very involved in politics with the Republican Party. And my biggest passion, of course, is gun rights. And,
how did you become a gun gal?
Basically, scout camp when I was about 10 years old.
Really?
That was the first time. My mom was not a gun fan. Mm-hmm. My dad was in the Marine Corps and grew up with a rifle shooting rabbits in San Diego County, the area. He lived in kind of a farmhouse out in the middle of nowhere at the time, and so his family survived the Depression and World War II, eat rabbits.
Yeah.
And
it's all right.
He said, you're going to get your first rifle when you turn 14. Well, somehow or another that 14 went past, and I never got the rifle, but by then I was in high school, and I had started the rifle team in high school. So
right, I don't get the sign. This is a turn lane, right?
Yeah, it is. They just kind of do things oddly here.
All right, we're
It's gonna be kind of fun. I can tell this is going to be an interesting drive.
Yeah, because I have no idea where I'm going.
So that was kind of the beginning of my competition. I've been competing for 53 years at different levels and different sports, and just about everything except shooting at those funny orange clay things that fly in the air. And
oh, really?
Yeah.
No shotgunning, huh?
Well, no bird shotgunning. A lot of tactical shotgunning, a lot of 3-gun kind of stuff. And,
cool.
And here I am doing my mom thing, checking your sixth. Safe to drive.
We're both looking in the same direction.
Yeah, so I've had a great life. I did most of my shooting was, competitive shooting was long range, precision rifle a long time ago before it was a gig, and high power, 3 position, just basically everything you imagine you could compete at. Bullseye pistol, long-range pistol.
Yeah.
And then I got into the tactical stuff when I got older, and I'm working on trying to get my combat master rating with a handgun.
Wow.
And I'm trying to break a few stereotypes there too.
That's cool.
Kind of my life is all about breaking stereotypes now.
Yeah, we noticed that.
Yeah, putting me in a box doesn't work very well. Besides that, there isn't a box big enough, but that's a big problem.
Right. The refrigerator box still is not big enough.
Maybe.
It's still not big enough. Where did you go after that? After you started doing that, did you shoot in your 20s and 30s when you were a parent?
Yeah, I did. Not as much.
Because I noticed with a lot of people with the, they're into shooting and then they get married and have kids and then they're out of it for a bit and then they turn around.
Same thing happens to pilots, by the way. They get their license early and then they have kids.
Do you fly?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. If there's an expensive hobby to have, I've done it. Spent most of my life trying to prove to the world how cool I was, and and trying to compensate for other things. But I competed pretty much through college, and then as my kids grew up, less of the traveling kind of competition. Still did a lot of local stuff.
Yeah.
And
all right.
Amy said she was going to call.
Amy's going to call. Amy Dillon's going to call?
She might. We had lunch together.
Gotcha. Well, here's what I'm going to make you do. At 2:45, I have to check in from my airline.
Oh, okay.
Oh, this is like a bonus episode. Right. We're getting another phone call from Amy Dillon.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. All right. And then I need to check in. I'm like, can I check in? My flight's on time. I'm checked in. Uno momento, por favor. I'm checked.
The joys of smartphones and life these days.
All right, I'll deal with that later. Great. Checked in. Cool. Good to go. Woo, doggy.
So, yeah, and then I started doing cowboy action shooting, and shot in a lot of the world matches and things. I didn't suck at cowboy action shooting, but it was just, I never missed is my problem. I had this, I just do the same thing in USPSA. I'm not the fastest person, but I'll have like a score that's, out of 30 shots, it'll be like 29 A's and a C, So,
right, one flyer.
I'm a big proponent of, shoot small, miss small.
Yeah, that's cool.
Nobody ever won a gunfight by missing quickly.
What's the other one? You have to take your time in a hurry?
Yeah.
Is it something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
That's cool.
I'm not a great fan of smooth as fast, but it helps you get fast. So.
Yeah. I was smooth as fast and... Wait, slow as smooth and smooth as fast.
Slow as smooth.
There we go. That's what it is. Did you become an instructor?
I did. I've for a long time, in my 20s, 30s, and 40s, and I actually had most of the NRA instructor ratings, and I don't remember. I don't think I had any of the instructor ratings, but I didn't teach full time, so it was kind of a pain to keep up those licenses.
Yeah.
I've now been refreshing them and trying to get that, but I instruct at front sight right now.
You do?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's the first place. I flew out to front sight. 2004 it was, and I took a 2-day defensive handgun class. I've seen pictures of you out in front sight.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I took like 70 classes, and then all the instructors were like, "You really need to come and do this." And so I was their first trans instructor at the same time as another long-term instructor transition, and so it was kind of a neat
time.
All of a sudden, they became a very inclusive organization. So
that's cool.
And to their credit, they've always been very, very professional with me, and they actually knew me before and after, so it was kind of interesting, kind of fun.
Gotcha. We don't have to get into this, but that's certainly part of your story. Yeah. And if you want to share, great. If you don't, that's okay too. Doesn't matter.
Well, like I said a little earlier, I spent most of my life trying to pretend I was somebody I wasn't. put on the, I'm built like a Mack truck, huge, big, put on that big, burly, muscular guy thing for years, except I didn't have muscles. But I had the presence and things like that, and I bought a Hummer, and I bought airplanes, and I bought hundreds of guns, most of them I lost in a boating accident. No.
Right. Did you see the story that somebody actually found some guns in in a lake someplace?
I would completely believe it.
There's one near where I live in central Massachusetts. There's one lake where somebody, I don't know, did some fishing or whatever, had a magnet and found a couple guns in this lake, and they're like, "Oh, we're finally surprised and happy to see these." And we're like, "Is anyone really shocked that they found some guns in that lake?"
Yeah, and how bad a condition were they in when they got them? Because they were probably dissolved.
Right.
But anyway, so I spent lots of money trying to prove I was the coolest dude in America, and finally, 7.5 years ago, I said, that's enough, and I came out to the world as me. So,
that's cool. Good for you.
And I never regretted it. So
excellent.
And I hang out with the same people I've been hanging out with my whole life. Still a conservative Republican, still Tea Party member. It's just like everything you can imagine that I wouldn't be accepted in. The gun community has been wonderful.
Yeah.
The conservative community, wonderful. There are lots of cases I'm the first person they've ever met like this, and I take it as an opportunity to have a teaching moment,
Well, that's cool.
An understanding moment I prefer actually more than teaching. So.
Understanding. That's nice, man.
Girl. Anything works for me.
Right.
I'm not one of those pragmatic or those unpragmatic people that realize that this voice doesn't necessarily go with this beautiful look. So.
How did you get in all the conservative stuff?
How
did you? Let me try this again. Okay. How did you get active with all of the conservative stuff that you do?
It was actually kind of a really fascinating progression. I've always been active in guns. I remember my 1967 Republican moment when I was watching Hubert Humphrey deliver a speech in Sacramento to my Democratic parents who were lapping it up like, dogs with warm milk. And I'm like looking at them going, this is the same junk Lyndon Johnson didn't get to work, And so that was kind of my Republican moment. And I worked in politics. I was a young Republican. I did all the political things that kids do, and met Barry Goldwater and a bunch of other fun things. And
quite a while ago, I read Conscience of a Conservative, and I got to tell you, I friggin' loved it. The phrase that he used in there, I think he used it 2 or 3 times. The phrase he used that I absolutely loved was maximum individual freedom.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh man, that's what I want. I don't know what that means. That is what I want.
It's just something to aspire to,
Yeah.
And to his credit, and you hook up the LGBT question to that. He didn't care. He had a gay daughter or son. I don't remember what it was, but he didn't care. He was like maximum individual freedom.
Maximum individual freedom.
It's like whatever you want to do, I'm good with. And I just want you to be a good American. I want you to be a good patriot. I don't care what else is.
Yeah. That's cool.
So anyway, so I just kind of went through that. Again, in that period of time when I was building my career and going to college, I kind of backed off on the politics a little bit. Always threw money at it because I didn't have any time. And then
needs money too.
And after my transition, I've been involved in the gun world forever. And I started to work with. We had formed a group in San Diego called. It was part of Gun Owners of California, San Diego chapter. And I heard about it and I started going, and it was like I met Michael Schwartz, who's an awesome friend of mine, and we put on a big dinner. And it was funny. He came up to me and said, I work with a group called Log Cabin Republicans, and I'm like, who are they? And I said, well, let's just say you'd be uniquely suited to be my liaison in the Log Cabin Republican. And what it is, it's Log Cabin Republicans is the LGBT arm of the Republican Party. And in California, we're chartered as part of the party and everything. So I showed up and started hanging out with them, and about a year later, I was president of the Republicans of San Diego, and it's something I just stepped back from. I'm now the president emeritus of it, and because all my other activities kind of detract from the time that I can spend doing that. So
that's cool.
That's a high interface. I mean, you have a lot to coordinate meetings and things like that.
Yeah.
With my travel schedule, it was like, well, we can't have a meeting this Friday because I'll be gone. Maybe next Friday, and then I'll be gone for that too.
Maybe next Friday. I'm not sure. We're going to pencil it. We're not going to pen.
Right.
We're not going to pen it.
And so that kind of got me back into active with the Republican Party, and I ran for Central Committee, my local county party, and won a seat. And so I was the first Republican transgender person on a Central Committee in San Diego, or in California. And I became a delegate to the state party, and as they say, I'm having a ball.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
You are also, you're involved in the DC project. You got your hands on a lot of things, girl.
That's probably my absolute favorite advocacy thing we do. Diana Mueller put together, it's like 65 ladies from like 47 states, but the theory is 50 from 50 right. Ladies from 50 states. But like, there's 4 of us from California because we're just huge and need a lot of help.
I started to realize there were more women from other states because I knew Rhonda Ezell,
right?
Who was a passenger in the stagecoach. I interviewed her, and then I interviewed Mary Callison.
Yes.
I interviewed her, and I'm like, wait a sec, they're both from Illinois. And then I had Lori Blackwell this past year with Susan Hansen, and I'm like, wait, she's from Illinois too. Illinois's got a lot of people in this 50-woman project.
Right.
There's 3 from Illinois.
Yeah, and like there's 2 from Connecticut. I mean, it's just, like California and Illinois, we have serious issues. We have a lot of legislators to visit.
There's a lot of work to do.
Diana's pragmatic. If you want to come and work, put in the work, and show up and do whatever you need to do, everybody's a benefit. So, and working with Diana Mueller is just a joy of it's kind of like, she's just amazing at how well she organized everything, and it's so much fun working with her because she's like a total no BS person. It's like, be real, be who you are. If you tell me you're going to do something, I'm counting on you to do it. I'm not going to come back and check on you.
Right.
So it's just an awesome work experience. And what's amazing is you've got 65 total Type A women that get along like sisters you love and will do anything to help you out anytime you need it. And there's like no egos involved. There's no, it's like, this is our task. We're focused on Second Amendment.
Yeah.
If I've got something that can help you, it's yours. And
that's cool.
I put out a thing. I need some data on this. I had like 5 emails in 20 minutes.
Oh my gosh!
And they were solid data.
Right.
It wasn't opinion. And so that's just a tremendous environment to make a change in the world.
It is good. I think the girls have been great.
Yeah, we hang out with you once in a while.
I know, right?
You're kind of like an honorary, DC
I'm an honorary girl? Wait a second.
Honorary DC project.
I love it, man. There was an event a couple nights ago that Danny and Cheryl Todd hosted at the Pot of Gold auctions at one of their businesses that they have, and I made sure I was there for it because it's totally cool. And then I looked across they had a panel of women that were telling their stories and fielding some questions. And I looked across and I'm like, wait a second. There were only 2 that I interviewed all of them.
Yep.
I think
you've just been pushing me off to the side all this time.
Oh, you're hard to push. I got to put a little shoulder into it.
Our schedules are completely counter-rotating.
Right, they totally are. One of my fun goals is I want to do a show in every state. So you travel around enough, I'm like, all right, if I can plan a trip and find out where she's going to be.
And here we are in Arizona.
Here we are in Arizona. I love the riding shotgun. I love the format, obviously. But
Joel, by the way, somebody won an award for that at the Gun Rights Policy Conference.
Right.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Deserve it very much.
I'm honored to be the blogger of the year. I've been telling everyone I'm blogger of the year. Didn't write a word. Who else can do that?
You're the man.
Right.
You're the man.
I had someone make a comment. They're like, "You have a blog?" I'm like, oh.
Well, even when they gave the award out, I said, "Well, you're not a traditional blogger."
Right. And you know what? I've got to go back and watch the video because I wasn't quite paying enough attention. So
yeah, you were like,
I
think I just heard my name.
Right, like.
Yeah, and Alan Gottlieb isn't exactly. He's just kind of this quiet, very
He is pretty subdued
person. But when he says something, he's one of those people you just. I think I should have been listening much better when he said that.
Absolutely.
You know?
The next one we're giving out has a little personal sentiment to all of us on the Second Amendment Foundation staff. It's the Ray Carter Blogger of the Year Award. Ray was one of our employees who passed away from cancer, who was basically our blogger for a number of years out of our office. And so we've established this award in his name, and he is sorely missed in our office. This year, the award is going to somebody who's maybe not a traditional blogger. But when you're talking about new media, things change daily. And so it's a form of blogging that isn't really necessarily blogging. But this year's Blogger of the Year Award goes to Charlie Cook for riding shotguns with Charlie.
You know, he talks about, blogging and new media and all this sort of stuff. And this year, the Blogger of the Award, Blogger of the Year Award goes to Charlie Cook. I'm like, Charlie? That's me.
Who the hell's that?
Like, Blogger of the Year? Really? Okay. So I went up, gave people 5 on the way up. I'm like, I can't believe this. I'm like, how? I don't have a blog. How did I be the Blogger of the Year?
Well, we're all proud of you. You got a pretty good.
I pretty good shtick going on here.
Well, you got a good shtick, but you're also, everybody respects you. So that's an amazing place to be from. Besides the fact you play the trumpet.
Yeah, that too. I'm really a trombone player.
Oh, that explains a few things.
That really does. I have, being a band teacher for a long time, I go from school to school, and I got tired of having to lug a trombone around. I used to jokingly say that I could play the trumpet with one hand and hit students with the other, but of course I never did. Just a joke, and never hit students. But
they need to have that threat sometimes.
Right.
Like my children thought I would kill them at any moment. Never would.
But it's good for them to think.
Keeps them straight. Keeps them out of trouble. Kept them out of jail. What am I doing?
So playing the trumpet, and I would conduct and play the snare drum and the bass drum parts with one hand, and play the trumpet with one hand, and play the drum parts with the other hand.
Multi-talented.
Yeah. So for me, transitioning from doing that for 20 years to making videos, playing the trumpet, shooting a gun at the same time, easy transition.
And none of those things I could ever do. So we all have our own unique talents.
We do, which is cool.
We just have to admire each other for what we get done.
Exactly. All right, so I'm trying to work on a montage of asking people this. If you had to talk to someone that was not a gun owner, but they were interested in it, or they were just starting out, or even if they were an anti-gun folk, how would you try to convince them to at least be open to or receptive to going shooting? Or
yeah, I've done a lot of that. Just this last week I had a conversation with a friend of mine in the LGBT world.
They're not looking for us, by the way. The cops.
For once, yeah.
Never been pulled over.
A young man in the LGBT world who was employed in that environment, in that community, and he was very hesitant about, ever taking me up on an offer to shoot. So he put up something. I put up a Facebook post and it had guns in it and something like that. And he said, "Oh, it was Cheryl Todd's polka dot."
Oh, the polka dot AR.
Yeah.
I put a picture of this in there.
Yeah.
Because polka dots are her camo.
Yeah. And so I put that on. He's like, "Well, that's the cutest picture I've ever seen. I hate guns, but that's the cutest picture I've ever seen." So I replied to him. I said, "Well, I'm going to say Benny. I'm not going to say the rest of his name." I said, "Benny, it's kind of silly to hate an inanimate object."
Yeah.
And and I said, "I tell you what, if you would like, I would be happy to take you out to a range and introduce you to one of my favorite hobbies and favorite sports, and then at least if you don't feel comfortable, you can choose that you don't want to be a gun owner,
right?
But then you're not, talking poorly about something you don't understand."
Right. You have a little bit of education.
Within about 2 seconds, he popped up on Messenger and said, "I'm in." I said, "Well, I'm going to be on vacation for like 3 weeks. I won't be back until like the 11th.
3-week vacation? Who else takes a 3-week vacation?
I'm going. Yeah, never mind. I'm ending up in Kentucky for the Girl and a Gun 3-gun match. So
wow.
So my daughter and I are going to take a little cross country trip together, and I'm going to go to a wedding in the middle of there. It's
gosh.
I was going to go to the Women's Leadership Forum down in Texas, but a friend of mine's getting married that weekend, and I promised her whenever she had it, I'd be there.
There you go.
I'm like, and then we have Lauren Hart, who's getting married during Gun Rights Policy Conference next year, so we're going to have some problems.
There's going to be some issues. That's going to be some
serious issues. But go to New York or go to Orlando. Anyway,
it's only going to be September, so it's a little
right.
If it was in February, no brainer.
No brainer, right?
Go to Orlando.
But so that's kind of the way I do it. I usually make a comment about some comment that they've made and help them understand why that isn't necessarily an appropriate response. Whether I'm not defiling their response. I'm just saying you might want to reconsider how you're phrasing that, because it's really silly to hate an inanimate object in this case.
Yeah.
And or they say, "I hate AR." My dad hates AR-15. My dad was in the Marine Corps when they brought out the M16. He should understand the difference between fully automatic and semi-automatic. But he's lost it in the media frenzy.
Well, he'd be confused between semi-automatic, fully automatic, or fully semi-automatic.
With a chainsaw attachment.
With a chainsaw attachment. I love that image.
And so that's usually, you just kind of politely question their thought.
Yeah.
And then offer them a solution to address it. You don't sit there and you don't argue with them. I actually offered a whole bunch of Valley Center Democrats to go shooting one time, and 2 of them actually took me up on it. And
2 of them took you up on them, and 3 of them broke out in hives.
I won't comment. They're all my friends.
I'm just playing.
Yeah. But it was really funny because the vice president of the organization, she shot my AR-15. And I still don't like it. Her son loved it. Her son absolutely loved it. "Mom, when can I get one?"
Oh my gosh.
And she's like, "I hate you." No, not really. But, it's just the thing that's missing is people taking the step straight to dismissing somebody's view, other than giving them the opportunity to get educated about it. And so we, as gun proponents, rights proponents, pro-rights people, need to kind of take that step and help them, understand, as opposed to, belittling their opinion. Their opinion is driven by an awful lot of media.
Yeah.
They have done, the anti-rights folks have done a very good job of making everything we love about shooting look bad. And so we have a whole re-education process, because we, quite honestly, sucked at countering the message over the last several years. I mean, we have, we let them get away with the term assault weapon. All we do is, AR doesn't mean assault weapon. And it's like, but we really haven't had, and that's one of the problems of the pro-rights community, is that we have all these different groups, and they all seem to think that they're competing with each other. We should have all these groups
on the same team.
Yeah, dragging the block up the incline to build the pyramid at the same time, at the same pace, and focus. And that's kind of one of the things I want to work on if I get on the NRA board, which I'm trying desperately to do. I'm not sure I'll make it this year, but I'll keep trying.
Nothing wrong with that. That would be good to show people that the NRA is a little more inclusive than people think we are, or they are. We's. All right, we're going to make a fun U-turn here. So,
very cool.
Hang on, girl.
I feel my interview's coming to an end soon.
Quickly.
But yeah, no, it's...
oh, great, there's a cop.
Fortunately,
Yikes.
he's going the other direction with his lights on, and he's about to do a U-turn and come and get you.
NRA board run. Tell us about that.
Well, I went to the NRA. Well, first of all, I belong to the NRA. I've been a life member for 40 years. I joined when I was like 14 because I was in competitive shooting, and they kept track of all the scores. I may have been 16, 17, not sure. I was in high school.
Yeah.
And it was back when it was like $14 to join for a year.
Right.
Yeah, and I upgraded to life, and then patron, and endowment, and benevolent, and ring of freedom, and pretty much, you know, I've been a fan, you know,
right.
And I'm one of those people that I think that the NRA has got is the elephant in the room, like the first speakers talked about, and it's an elephant that needs to be in the room because with all the fractionalization that's going on in the organization or in the whole community, they kind of have a single focus, and then they've got some other allies that are even more aggressively attacking certain individuals and not attacking persons but attacking policy.
Right.
And so, you know, and the NRA's got a huge base. They have a lot of money. They have very talented people, and everybody can be helped. And I've been on, you know, 5 or 6, 7 nonprofit boards over the last 30 years or so, and I'm really good at it. You know, I'm really good at the fiduciary responsibility part. I balance their checkbooks a lot better than I balance mine. Mine is like, I shove checks, that means I still have money.
Right. Exactly.
But I spend other people's money a lot better than mine. But anyway, so I was always been the person that was sent out to analyze problems and evaluate new technology, and you know, all my business jobs and things like that. And so it's really hard to blow smoke on me, you know, and get me to change my mind that way. I've had a lot of friends that one of my friends that convinced me to run for Central Committee, the Republican Central Committee. He said, "There are two things, Gina. One, you don't care really what people think of what you say because you'll say what needs to be said. And the second thing was he didn't imagine anybody in the world that had enough money to buy my vote." And I'm like, that's kind of a weird compliment, but I was like, wow, that's really pretty cool.
Interesting.
You know?
Yeah.
And
why is this guy going so slow?
Yeah, well, it's okay. It's making my interview longer.
There you go.
And so, you know, philosophy-wise, we got a lot of work to do. We've got, and I'm in it for the long game. I really want to be on the NRA board. It's a lot harder to get signatures and things than I ever expected.
Right.
I thought, oh, my social media, I can find 700 people to sign up for a t-shirt. Well, first of all, half the people don't know what their status is, whether they're members, life members, or annual members. I said my usual comeback is, you know, well, what you get a ballot in your magazine, and I'm like, they're like, I don't know. And
oh my gosh.
So anyways, you know, and then none of them have their NRA numbers. So it's been fascinating. I've met a lot of people. I've met a lot of guys that probably would never have spoken to me ever before.
Right.
Today, signing my petition.
That's cool.
My policy. Okay. So probably, you know, somebody handed out a flyer yesterday, and I went, you know, that was really stupid. I should have done that. So I did
That's
it.
a good idea. I should have done this.
Yeah, I was like, I'm trainable. Okay, at least I can admit that. So I stayed up last night. Got up early this morning and did it, and then printed it out and put it on my USB card and made 200 copies of it, and looked at it. When I printed it out, it cut my name off. So fortunately, I had my email address and my phone number. Like, oh, that was really brilliant, Gina. So anyways, after I had 500 copies of that, so I handed it out, helped a little bit. It was kind of a conversation starter with a couple people.
With some people, that's cool.
But so I'm kind of hoping that the nominating committee, saw me favorably. Not sure, I had some fans on there that were very enthusiastic about putting my name forward. Because, like you said, I do kind of fill a demographic that's not very well represented in the board.
Yeah.
And,
right.
And I don't usually pull that card. It kind of annoys me when people do pull that card. But if somebody else pulls it for me, I'm okay with that. It's like, but
I'm not going to use it, but if someone else uses it to my advantage, I'm in.
I mean, because I have a whole different philosophy than a lot of people in the LGBT community, and there's people that argue with this, but I've seen it proven. Conservative LGBT people classify themselves differently, I think, than liberal LGBT people. They tend to identify directly first as LGBT and second as liberal and whatever.
Right,
whatever.
Their politics is an afterthought.
With the conservatives, it's like, well, I'm an American, I'm a Republican, I'm a whatever, and oh, by the way, I have this feature called gay or transgender in my case, and so it frames the way you think about things a lot, just subconsciously. And Nikki Stoller is a lot like, she doesn't really go out and say I'm trans or anything like that. She's just like there. So it just kind of frames my whole existence and how I like to relate to people. I hang out with a girl and a gun. I'm not trying to hang out and be the LGBT person or the trans person, right. Girl and a gun. I'm just a member of Girl and a Gun. And they reached out, and I was concerned, and I wrote them a letter at one point in time after the Pulse massacre, and I said I'd like to try to recruit some trans people into Girl and a Gun. And I said, you know my story, right? And of course they had, because everybody had asked about it. And they said, yeah, absolutely, no question.
Cool.
We are an absolutely open organization, and they have been. It's been fantastic. I got to be a squad mom last year for Fall Fest.
You got to be only 6'3" squad mom. That's awesome.
So, I have an absolute joy in life, but by hanging out with just these mainstream organizations and just being part of the regular community, I get to expose a lot of people to something that they don't necessarily see.
Right, which is cool.
I try to be non-flamboyant. It's kind of hard to hide as a 6'1", 250-pound redhead, but right. But I don't. I'm not like see me. What's really hard is everybody remembers me, and I have a horrible memory for names. You're Charlie.
Right, Charlie.
Brett,
I'll never forget what's his face.
Yeah, and so I'm working really hard on doing that, because I get, I've been in a bunch of videos for different things, and at CPAC, all these college kids were coming up to me going, "You're Gina Roberts," and I'm like looking around, going, "Who is she? Who's this kid looking at?" And well, you were in a video, and I'm like, wow, that was like one video, and I went back and I looked at the video, and it had been viewed like 3.5 million times.
Wow.
Holy bananas.
That's cool.
And so just being out there and being in the community, and one thing I love about the gun community, it's my hobby, it's really easy for me to make this a good thing for the rest of the world. And the people in the gun community are just 99%
they're great people. They really are the best people. They just easy to get along with, willing to help and support and talk. And
if you're safe, you know what you're doing, you're 99% of the way in.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If you're not safe, it's just like anybody else that's not safe. You're going to catch grief big time.
Right. We're kind of relentless with that too. But you have to be safe. Well, obviously, you have to be safe.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's a great thing, but it has nothing to do with who you are. It's how you are being.
Exactly.
So, having a ball in life, and looking forward to seeing you in many more places.
I can't wait. How can people find you and all the stuff that you're doing?
Easiest way is, search Facebook for Gina Roberts. I'm usually the first or the second one that pops up.
Yep.
That's kind of the easiest. I try to just post where I'm going and what I'm doing and stuff like that.
Do you have some social media, Facebook page for your NRA?
NRA board, I have Gina for NRA. If you type that into the thing, it should pop that one up.
Cool.
And
put some links for that.
Yeah, and then I also have an email address, Gina for NRA at gmail.com.
All right, cool. Yeah. We're going to put all that in the links. Listen, you guys, thank you for watching this episode of Riding Shotgun. Thanks for being on the show. You can check out Riding Shotgun with Charlie on YouTube, on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify and iHeartRadio. Please like and share, because we are trying to get the Stagecoach across America. Also, don't forget the Self-Defense Radio Network, SDRN.US. It is all of your pro-freedom podcasts in one place. Gina, thank you so much for being on the show. It's been a pleasure. I look forward to seeing you. I don't know if I'll see you at the DC Project next summer.
You better.
I know, right? I'm like the mascot. I'm like the mascot for the girl group. I love this. And
that works for me. We can call you our mascot. That's right. Better than an honorary girl, I guess.
Mascot, we'll go with that.
I love it.
Awesome.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you. We'll see you guys next time.